All right, we're going to begin the meeting. We cut there's Chief Browning, and let me say on the record, thank you both for making every effort to be here today. I know it was not easy for either of you. Chief Browning on vacation still allowed us to have her at a public location.
Anything for you.
This July meeting is always very tough to catch a quorum, so it was really important for all of you to do what you're doing today. Scott Budnick, Judge Guard, Dr. Lai, and Jeff McComber won't be here today. Chief Browning, Chief Scott, Chief Taylor, and Norma Kumpion are joining us virtually. And as I said previously, Norma Kumpion is at the Anti-Recidivism Coalition office located at 601 North Alvarado Street in Los Angeles. Chief Browning is at the Lassen County Probation Department at 2950 Riverside Drive, Suite 101 in Susanville, California. Sheriff Taylor is also in a public location located at the County of San Benito's Administrative Building located at 481 4th Street in Hollister, California. All of those locations are listed on our website. Should anyone virtually watching this meeting need to find them. And I will now welcome Joanna, our new board assistant and secretary, to do a very painstaking job, which is present to the members on Zoom how to access and speak on items of interest.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. We are meeting both in person and virtually, and we will support public participation during this meeting through the Zoom webinar platform. Members in the room, please remember to state your name before making a comment so that those participating remotely may know who is speaking. For those participating remotely, if you wish to make a comment, please use the raise hand feature on Zoom or physically raise your hand so we can see you. Regarding voting, all agenda items that require a vote will require a roll call vote at the end of each agenda item. Board members in the room, please remember to turn off your microphones when you are not speaking, and please remember to speak into your microphone so that all on Zoom may hear you. Members of the public, we will give the members of the public the opportunity to comment after the presentation of each agenda item and prior to the board voting on them. You will have 2 minutes for your comment. After your 2 minutes have ended, I will verbally let you know, and you may watch the screen where we will display the 2-minute timer. We encourage anyone wishing to make a public comment to raise their hand at the start of each agenda item being discussed. Members of the public will not have the ability to unmute yourself during discussion until the chair opens it up for public comment. You must raise your hand on Zoom or send a request to publiccomments@bscc.ca.gov. This is also available on our website. If you've sent in a request through the public comment email box, I will call on the email address or identifier you provided in your email. If you are calling by phone, dial *9 to raise your hand, dial *6 to unmute yourself. I will call on those who have raised their hand and those who have emailed your request to speak, and I will ask you to unmute yourself. I will notify you when the 2-minute timer sounds and ask you to wrap up your thoughts. In addition, we will have a 2-minute timer visible on the screen, so please keep track of your time. When the time is up, please wrap up so that we have the opportunity to hear from everyone who wants to make a comment. Also, if your comment aligns with other speakers, please feel free to associate your comment with prior speakers. Thank you for your patience and understanding as we work to ensure all speakers can be heard. Agenda item 5 is the opportunity for any member of the public to make a comment or any agenda item other comments in general. We will call the members on Zoom first, then the members here in Sacramento. Public participation in the room, please complete a public comment card located at the table behind me and provide it to me during the meeting. As a reminder, you may follow along and view the list of those in the public comment queue by visiting www.bscc.ca.gov and clicking on the link to the agenda. Madam Chair.
Thank you. I see Chief Scott has joined us. Good to see you. Joanna, will you take the roll and announce a quorum, please?
Sure. Chair Penner,
Aye. Present.
Mr. McCumber is absent. Dr. Bowles,
Present.
Sheriff Taylor,
Present.
Chief Haynes,
Here.
Chief Branning,
Here.
Judge Guard is absent. Chief Scott,
Here.
Mr. Budnick is absent. Ms. Zaragoza,
Here.
Ms. Kumpian,
Here.
Dr. Lai is absent, and Dr. Castro Rodriguez.
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. And as I said earlier, welcome, Joanna. Joanna Gonzalez is the new board secretary, taking the place of Natalia, who filled in for quite a while. And I want to publicly thank Natalia for all she did during that period of time. Joanna also has the duties of our executive assistant to Aaron and I. And so those of you on the board will be hearing from her as you make your travel recommendations, and she'll be inquiring about attendance and all the things that were previously done by Adam. There was a group of people who filled in for Adam before we were fortunate enough to get Joanna on board. And to all of those individuals, thank you very much. It is not easy keeping up with all the obligations that this board and the executives on this board face. Now I will defer to Executive Director Aaron McGuire for his report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to give a couple updates. One on the budget, and then also updates regarding the inspections and re-inspections of the Los Angeles County Department's juvenile detention facilities. You may recall at the June 12th board meeting, we had sort of anticipated of possibly having the Barry J. Nidor facility on the agenda at that time, pending various inspections and re-inspections. We had pulled that agenda item from that calendar at that time because we didn't have the opportunity to conduct the re-inspections prior to that board meeting. We have since conducted those re-inspections at the facility, and I think you have noticed that, again, the Barry J. Nidor facility is not on the agenda for consideration, or that's because when we went out there, we had conducted the re-inspection of the facility between June 24th and July 1st. This was part of the depopulation plan for Los Padrinos, which was to move some of those predisposition male youth to what was then what is still the unsuitable juvenile hall at Barry J. Nidorf. As we've previously discussed at these board meetings, the Barry J. Nidorf Juvenile Hall was determined to be unsuitable by the board in May of 2023. That was based on 9 separate items of noncompliance with the minimum standards. Those standards that were out of compliance in May of 2023 included things such as staffing, their fire safety plan, safety checks, room confinement, use of force, searches, education programs, recreation and exercise, and discipline. So what we were asked to do was basically try to determine whether or not we could consider Barry J. Nidorf Juvenile Hall as a suitable facility again. And what we endeavored to do in order to try to ascertain that was there are still youth at the Barry J. Nidorf facility, but they are at the secured youth treatment facility at the Barry J. campus. And so what we wanted to do was to determine whether or not the SYTF was in compliance with those same regulations that the juvenile hall was out of compliance for. So when we conduct that inspection, we determined that the SYTF is actually out of compliance with safety checks, room confinement, and use of force. We issued a new inspection report to the Los Angeles County Probation Department based on those findings. But because of that, we felt like we could not bring to the board any consideration that the juvenile hall could be suitable for the confinement of youth. That's why it is not on the agenda again for today. Just a brief update on, there were some questions about the use of Kilpatrick. just a brief update on that. We did conduct a site visit on July 7th. The county plans to utilize Campus Kilpatrick to house both pre and post disposition female youth, including those that are currently housed at Los Padrinos. We've reviewed an updated staffing plan. The original staffing plan submitted did not appear to provide sufficient staffing to run CVK as a juvenile facility. We've provided that feedback back to the department. We're also still waiting for some progress update on some construction and maintenance projects related to compliance with Title 24, the physical plant minimum standards at CVK as well. We've provided that technical assistance on July 9th. We have also provided an update related to the inspections at Barry J. Neidorf to Judge Espinosa on July 11th. We submitted that to the court, and the next court date for Judge Espinosa is tomorrow. So we will see what Judge Espinosa will do next based on the current status of the facilities. Any questions for board members on that?
Yeah, that's a lot of moving parts, so please feel free. Now's the time to ask.
So this is Angeles Zaragoza. Pending for the Barry J. SYTF is now a corrective action plan.
Correct. So they will have 60 days to submit a corrective action plan based on the items of noncompliance that were found at the SYTF.
And then is there a date when you expect updates on the items that are pending at Kilpatrick?
I don't have dates for that yet.
So there's no timeline for that.
Not that we are aware of.
Okay, thank you.
Somebody else from the board.
Madam Chair, Kirk Haynes, Chief Probation Officer, Fresno. Aaron, in regard to Kilpatrick, are there kids there now in the camp?
I'm going to turn to.
There are no kids there.
There are no kids there now.
Okay, all right, that's good. And then in regard to Barry J., so in order to determine whether they would have been prepared to receive youth in their juvenile hall, the best that we could do was to take a look at the SYTF program. Is that how we decided to do that?
Yeah, the challenge for us is, when a facility has been vacated, the statutes do provide, we have to. A facility becomes suitable again once they've remedied the items of noncompliance. It's a challenge to determine whether or not the items have been remedied if there's no program and operations occurring there. Because the youth at Barry J were commingled between the SYTF and the juvenile hall populations, we felt that it would be important to see what the status of the SYTF was doing with those functions.
Right.
That would inform us as to whether or not the juvenile hall would be capable of maintaining those same functions. And because of the challenges with the room confinement, and again, issues regarding the staff not being trained on use of force, we felt like we could not recommend a finding of suitability based on the current status of what's going on at the SYTF.
So they'll submit a cap within the 60 days. And so do you anticipate Los Angeles will request that if they submit an acceptable cap and can overcome the issues, that they would ask for another reinspection to make, and then of the SYTF program, and if they're found, back in compliance in those regard, then does it follow that they'll ask for another reinspection to consider Barry J for a juvenile hall? Is that what you inspect? Is that what you anticipate would happen?
I would anticipate that would happen.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else on the board have questions or comments? Probably at this juncture, do we have any public comments on this specific issue, the executive director's portion on LA and the budget? Well, we haven't heard on the budget yet, but I think we should probably ask for public comment on this now.
Madam Chair, there's no public comment.
Thank you very much. Anyone in the room wish to comment? Seeing none, Aaron, you want to move on and discuss, I think you were going to talk about budget?
Yeah, just a brief update. And we had sent a May revised summary out to the board, and we anticipate sending the final budget update to board members. But what was basically in the May revised was included in the final budget, but I just wanted to highlight a few things. including there was an approval by the legislature of an extension of the mobile probation grant program. That's actually on the agenda today to effectuate that extension for the board. And then I'm going to roll just right into what is the legislative update, which is the two trailer bills that impacted the board that were part of the budget, the final budget deal. And those items are available on the agenda as well. I wanted to highlight AB 134, which was a budget trailer bill, and that provided a couple of things impacting the board, including removing requirements regarding the CCP plan reporting, and then also pretty significant amendments to Welfare and Institutions Code Section 209, which is what governs the suitability process for the juvenile facilities. Specifically, amendments were included in this bill so that it was explicit that we can conduct inspections more than biannually, which is an issue that the Los Angeles Probation Department had previously raised with us, questioned about us being in the facility more often than once every other year. It also explicitly outlines that the board can appropriately and properly delegate to the authority to approve corrective action plans to staff, and then it explicitly authorizes the BSCC to file a lawsuit to enforce the provisions of Welfare and Institutions Code Section 209. So pretty significant changes for this board. And then I just wanted to highlight an additional trailer bill, AB 141, which has to do with the Prop 64 regulation of cannabis grants. That is also, we're going to kick off that grant making process as part of the agenda today as well. This measure will expand the eligibility of potential grant recipients by removing before the eligibility requirements for this grant was that a jurisdiction had to allow retail sales and cultivation in order to participate in this grant program. The cultivation requirement has now been removed. So if a jurisdiction provides for retail sale of cannabis products, then it can now participate in our grant program. We actually had a phone call with the Department of Cannabis yesterday, and they estimate approximately 50 additional jurisdictions will become eligible for our grant program. And then this measure also allows the board to consider establishing a formula grant program in addition to the competitive grant program that we currently administer, which the board may want to consider to allow some baseline funding for marijuana mitigation and enforcement compliance programs. So with that, Madam Chair, that's my executive director's update.
Thank you. Moving on to legal update. Oh, sure, please.
Thank you, Kirk Haynes, probation. Aaron, in regard to AB 134 and the CAP process, the approval process, although the staff now can approve a correction action plan, it will ultimately the approval and disapproval would have to come to the board. Is that correct, in order to ratify it?
That's correct. So administratively, staff will approve or disapprove the caps, and then what we anticipate having is, we will have a standing board agenda item for the approval and disapproval of those caps for ratification.
And will those be all on as a regular agenda item or a consent, or do you anticipate what you would recommend on that? Or
I mean, my recommendation would be to have them on the consent calendar. Again, there's a disagreement. Well, I wouldn't say a disagreement, but there's definitely been discussion about whether or not the task of approving or disapproving those caps is ministerial in nature or not. For the most part, there's the approval of the caps, I don't believe, have generally been very controversial. And I do think the staff can certainly, we are certainly capable of doing that.
Okay.
And so I do anticipate that the vast majority of those caps will be on the consent calendar without need for further discussion from the board.
Thank you.
Any other board members? Anyone virtually have any questions? Seeing none,
No.
do we have anybody in the virtual public?
I do not see any public comment at this time. Madam
Okay.
Chair.
Anybody in the room like to make a comment on these items? Seeing none, back to the board. The legal update, and I don't know who wins this privilege today, Eloisa or Aaron? They're-
I'll take it.
They're looking at each other,
Yeah,
so.
there is none. I will flag, as always, because we have a couple of grant items on the agenda. I would ask board members to take a look at the proposed award recommendations, make sure that you or your employing agency will not be receiving any of those funds, so we can worry about recusals. I will already flag in advance. We have a consent item which Chief Haynes will be recusing himself on. And then additional legal updates we will do in closed session.
Okay. Questions, comments from the board? Anybody have questions or comments in the room? Anybody virtually? Seeing none, we'll move along. Aaron, I would like to ask, so you would like to handle on the consent agenda portion of this, items A and B and C as a standalone?
Let's take A and B together, and then
Okay.
we'll do C separately. So Chief Haynes can recuse on that one.
Okay.
So a motion to approve items A and B on the consent calendar.
Does anybody wish to pull any issue on the consent agenda? Seeing none, anybody wish to make a motion on items A and B on the consent agenda?
Chair Penner, I'll make a motion. This is Chief Scott
Thank you.
to approve.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
This is Angeles. I'll second.
Thank you. Anybody have any comments on these two items on the consent agenda? None? None in the room? May we take a vote? Go ahead and call the roll.
Okay. Chair Penner,
Aye.
Mr. McCumber is absent. Dr. Bowles,
Aye.
Sheriff Taylor,
Aye.
Chief Haynes,
Aye.
Chief Branning,
Aye.
Judge Guard is absent. Chief Scott,
Aye.
Mr. Budnick is absent. Ms. Zaragoza,
Aye.
Ms. Kumpian. Aye. Dr. Lai is absent, and Dr. Castro Rodriguez.
Aye.
Madam Chair, the motion carries for A and B.
Thank you. Let the record reflect Chief Haynes is leaving for this portion. Is Chief Banning,
I do not believe Chief Branning is impacted by agenda item C.
okay?
We're
Thank you.
not.
All right. Thank you. So for item C, are there any comments from the board? Any questions? Members of the public?
I have no public.
And anyone in the room? Seeing none, may I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Thank you. Jen, will you?
Okay, Chair Penner,
Aye.
Mr. McCumber is absent. Dr. Bowles,
Aye.
Sheriff Taylor,
Aye.
Chief Haynes. Oh, sorry, recused. Chief Branning,
Aye.
Judge Guard is absent. Chief Scott,
Aye.
Mr. Budnick is absent. Ms. Zaragoza,
Aye.
Ms. Kumpian. Aye. Dr. Lai is absent, and Dr. Castro Rodriguez.
Aye.
Madam Chair, the motion carries for agenda item C.
Thank you. And now we can invite Chief Haynes back in. I see Ian already standing. We're going to item 4 on our agenda, the action and discussion items.
And actually for this, for agenda item D, I do think Chief Haynes will be recusing on this item.
Well, he was here and he's gone again. Good seeing you for that brief moment.
And then I would actually invite Sheriff Taylor and Chief Branding to quickly look at that agenda item, and they may wish to recuse as well.
Thank you, Aaron. I will need to recuse on this one.
Thank you. Chief Branning,
I believe I will as well.
thank you. All right, Ian, I believe we're ready to proceed.
Good morning, Madam Chair and board members. Ian Silva, Field Representative with the Corrections Planning and Grants Program Division, presenting agenda item D, requesting approval to release a request for applications, or RFA, for the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Program, or JAG. The Board of State and Community Corrections is the designated state administrating agency for the JAG program, which is federally funded through the Bureau of Justice Assistance and is the primary provider of federal criminal justice funding to state and local jurisdictions. In accordance with the JAG multi-year state strategy approved by the board in September of 2022, JAG funds are awarded to California counties to support programs that address the program purpose areas, or PPAs, listed on the current slide. The JAG funding for federal fiscal year 2022 and 2023 is set to expire in September of 2026, and the current cohort of JAG grantees are not anticipated to fully expend these funds. Staff request approval to release a new RFA to ensure local jurisdictions can make use of the federal fiscal year 2022 and 2023 funds before they expire. This non-competitive formula-based RFA would allow counties to request JAG funds for equipment, fixed assets, supplies, and/or training initiatives for activities that will address at least one of the specified JAG PPAs shown on the current slide. Funding will be allocated based on each county's population with a minimum allocation of $10,000, which is shown on attachment D in your board materials. I'm sorry, D3. The current JAG grantees will be eligible to apply. I would like to pause to clarify that the current JAG grantees projects would not be affected by this RFA, and they will complete their projects using funds remaining from prior federal JAG awards. Successful applicants will be funded for a grant period from October 1st of 2025 to September 30th of 2026. The current slide provides a tentative timeline of activities necessary to administer the RFA. In conclusion, staff recommends the board take the following actions. Approve the release of the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program non-competitive request for applications. Delegate authority to staff to approve awards to applications that meet the criteria defined in the RFA, with such approvals having the same legal force and effect as if approved by the BSCC board, and to authorize staff to distribute unallocated funds among grant awardees if funds remain allocated after all awards have been made. This concludes my presentation. I'm of course happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Thank you, Ian. Looking to board members for any questions or comments on this item? Seeing none in the room or virtually, now looking for public comment on this item.
Madam Chair, we do have Elizabeth Gong for public comment.
Okay. While we're working on that, does anyone in the room like to make any comments on this agenda item? Seeing none, okay.
Okay, the 2-minute timer is up. Ms. Gong, go ahead. You can unmute and start talking.
Are you there, Elizabeth?
Ms. Gong, Elizabeth Gong. You can unmute.
I'm wondering if she was just listening to the meeting and didn't want to comment. Well, we're glad to hear you listened, Elizabeth. We retract our request for public comment. Thank you. See, we're just all, it's okay, Joanna. She wanted her name mentioned in this meeting, so we were able to do that. So I think that's kind of you. She wouldn't even raise her hand, but that's fine. Okay, so we've checked virtually and the room, no comments. Back to the board. Will you take the vote?
Motion.
Oh, I apologize. I am out of it here today. Can I get a motion in a second? Thank you, Erin.
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
The duo here working overtime on the motions.
Okay.
Thank you. And
Chair Penner,
aye.
Mr. McCumber is absent, Dr. Bowles,
Aye.
Judge Guard is absent, Chief Scott,
Aye.
Mr. Budnick is absent, Ms. Zaragoza,
Aye.
Ms. Kumpian,
Aye.
Dr. Castro Rodriguez.
Aye.
Madam Chair, the motion for agenda item D carries.
Thank you. Moving on to item E. Do we have anybody to recuse Aaron, or do we need to invite people back into the room?
I believe we don't need any recusals on this item.
So I see Anita going to get Aaron. Somebody get a hold of Chief Taylor. It's hard to know if he's actually here based on there we go. We don't see him yet.
He's coming.
There, I see him. Welcome back, Sheriff. Eddie Escobar, are you ready to present on this?
I am. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Eddie Escobar, Field Representative with the Corrections Planning and Grant Programs Division, and I will be presenting agenda item E. This agenda item requests board approval of the Missing and Murdered Indigenous People Grant Program Cohort 3 awards as recommended by the Executive Steering Committee. Let me first provide you with the brief history of the MMIP grant. The grant program was established in the State Budget Act of 2022. This grant provided competitive funding to federally recognized tribes in California to support an array of activities, such as outreach and awareness campaigns, mental health and substance use disorder treatment, family support activities, human trafficking education, or to foster collaboration among tribes and their local law enforcement partners. In July of 2022, the board approved the establishment of the Executive Steering Committee to be chaired by board member Norma Kupion. In 2023, the board awarded the first MMIP cohort to 4 tribes. In the subsequent state budgets of 2024 and 2023-2024, appropriations were made to fund 2 additional MMIP cohorts. In July of 2024, the board approved the cohort 2 awards to 18 tribes for $19.92 million. Last November, the board approved the re-release of the cohort 3 RFP that made $12.93 million available to fund MMIP efforts. Conducting extensive outreach to the tribal community this past spring, BSCC received 21 proposals requesting almost $24 million. After further review, 19 RFPs met the submission criteria and were forwarded to the ESC for scoring. In the next slide, you will see, there you go. In this next 2 slides, you will see the 15 highest ranked applicants recommended for funding to begin their projects in August. Let me first note that 1 applicant fell at the funding cutoff point on the ranked list and is only being recommended for funding, partial funding, excuse me. In conclusion, on behalf of the Missing and Murdered Indigenous People Grant ESC, staff recommends to the board the following. 1, fully fund 14 proposals totaling $12.58 million for grant projects to federally recognized tribes in California to support efforts to identify, collect case level data, publicize, and to investigate and solve cases involving missing and murdered Indigenous people. 2, partially fund 1 proposal for $344,489. 3, authorize staff to continue awarding funds from the ranked list if any applicant is unable to accept the award, relinquish an award, or is deemed ineligible. In any of these instances, the funding will be first offered to the partial awardee followed by the next highest ranked applicant. 3, also to authorize staff to continue awarding funds from the ranked list if a grantee becomes ineligible or relinquishes an award during the grant period. And finally, staff recommends to dissolve the MMIP Executive Steering Committee upon approval of the funding recommendations. On behalf of the BSCC, I would like to thank Board Member Norma Cupion for serving as Chair of the ESC and the other ESC members, Mary Lopez Kiefer, Matt Hansen, Hetty Hitchcock, Walter Kurtz, Priscilla Frizzell, and Keely Linton. We applaud all your hard work and commitment to the success of the MMIP program over the last 3 years. Madam Chair, this concludes staff's presentation. I'm happy to take any questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from board members? Norma, I cannot see you, but thank you for
Oh.
staying.
No, I
staying-
was, oops, sorry, I was raising my hand, actually.
Okay, see, they've made it extra hard for me today by not even showing you. I just need intuitively to know that you have raised your hand.
See, we're on the same page. You
There we
can
go.
read my thoughts. It's
You should
getting,
worry that we're in sync.
I am, I am. But I wanted to echo what Eddie said and thank the volunteers who stepped up to the plate and gave of their time and their expertise. This was a pretty lengthy process, and just super grateful to hear their wisdom and be able to get this this funding out. And then also thank you to the BSCC and the staff that were able to, by the outreach, to get so many more tribes to apply. So thank you so much. And it was a pleasure to be on this panel. So thank you.
Thank you, and to all the other members of the public that participated in the executive steering committee process. It's not one that's easy to participate in. It comes with homework and timelines. And so to all of you, we appreciate you. Chief Scott?
Yeah, thank you, Chair Pinner. Just a question to Eddie. If you said this, I apologize. But does the funding have requirements to educate the public on this issue? Just wondering how much of that, because it seems like there's a lack of knowledge about this issue, and just wondering if the grants are constructed where that situation can be made better.
As far as each project or like reported to the state, as far as, I know there's a report that's due to the state. Not sure, I don't remember the exact timeline, but each, the legislator has had some report outs on funding with MMIP issues or whatnot over the last couple of years. So some of that does get, community does get informed by progress.
Does the grant
Yeah.
itself require grantees to do information sharing and outreach?
Yeah, that was my question.
Yeah,
That was
That's what I
my-
thought it was.
Some of them are, that's kind of their focus of their project, to collaborate with other tribes and to just, some of them are setting up databases, different information to get to all the other tribes, especially tribes that they didn't get any funding. So they're collaborating together. That's kind of the emphasis. Two in particular are collaborative proposals. So that's kind of the gist of their projects.
I mean,
Okay.
most specifically though, requirements to educate the public at large. I mean, that collaboration is great, but just the wider community about these issues and getting collaboration outside of the indigenous community.
Good morning, Colleen Curtin. I'm Deputy Director of the Grants Division. There is no requirement, Chief, that the tribes or the BSCC do education to the public. But as Eddie said, many of the tribes have incorporated that as a part of their proposal to do education among their own tribal communities and, you know, they're outside the tribe into the region. But no, it's not a requirement.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Any other members of the board? Any members of the public in the room first? Seeing none? Virtually?
I have no comment.
either.
No
Um,
comment.
Thank you. And thank you to Eddie and Norma. We did have to do quite a public outreach ourselves to get the various tribes at a comfort level to, you know, interface with us on this grant. And I'm very happy to see, that we're able to award this many grants on a really important, often invisible issue in our state. So appreciate it. All right, moving along. Item F, Prop 64 Health and Human Safety Grant, appointment of a chair, establishment. I guess you're not leaving it.
Madam Chair, I think we needed to take.
Lord,
I
such a
was
mess
stepping
today.
back, but
You
Yeah.
would think I've been up since 4 this morning. All right, moving right along, we're going to go ahead and take a motion in a second, and then I'm going to give up this job soon.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Second,
Second.
guess you got outdone on that one. Okay.
Chair Penner,
Aye.
Dr. Bowles,
Aye.
Sheriff Taylor,
Aye.
Chief Haynes,
Aye.
Chief Branning,
Aye.
Chief Scott, oh, Chief Scott, I think
You're on
you're
mute,
muted.
Chief.
Sorry
You have
about
to
that.
be-
Aye.
You
Sorry
don't
about
have, Chief, you don't have to do that to make me feel better.
Ms. Zaragoza,
Aye.
Ms. Kumpian,
Aye.
and Dr. Castro Rodriguez.
Aye.
Madam Chair, the motion carries.
Thank you. I have 2 items to get this right this morning. Moving on to item F. No wonder Eddie wasn't leaving. Wasn't quite done. Prop 64 Health and Safety Grant. Good morning,
Good
Helene.
morning.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good,
Aaron, are there
good.
any additional recusals?
I do know that Sheriff Taylor is going to recuse on this item. He may have gone already.
Okay, perfect. Good morning, Madam Chair and board members. My name is Helene Zentner. I'm a field representative with the Corrections Planning and Grant Programs Division, and I'm here before you presenting item F. Interesting enough, I was before this board almost 6 years ago to the date to request these same actions. To designate a chair for the establishment of the Proposition 64 Grant Cohort 4 Executive Steering Committee, or ESC. To delegate authority to that chair to work with BSCC staff to establish a diverse ESC membership with relevant subject matter experts, and to modify membership if necessary. And to authorize the ESC to oversee the development of the Proposition 64 Grant Cohort 4 request for proposals according to the tentative timeline provided at the end of this item. For background, in November 2016, Proposition 64 was passed by the voters of California. This act, known as the Control, Regulate, and Tax Adult Use of Marijuana Act, legalized the use of cannabis for those over the age of 21 and established laws to regulate the cultivation, distribution, sale, and use of cannabis. The Revenue and Taxation Code, Section 34019, has gone through several iterations, the most current language being updated in Senate Bill 141 within the fiscal year 25-26 Budget Act, which Aaron had mentioned earlier. SB 141 is attached to this item in full. However, to provide for your convenience, in pertinent part within item F, in summary, these grant funds will be awarded to local governments that allow either the retail sale of cannabis in storefronts or cannabis delivery in jurisdictions with a population of 10,000 residents or less. As Aaron also mentioned, there's a component for prioritizing applications that include enforcement of illicit cannabis activities and having this funding be both competitive and formula-based. The BSCC grant-making process begins with the designation of a chair and requesting letters of interest from pertinent subject matter experts to determine the ESC membership. This ESC will work to develop the request for proposals, read and rate those proposals, and provide their funding recommendations to this board. The tentative timeline is provided at the end of this item. Approximately $100 million will be available for the Prop 64 Grant Cohort 4 RFP. Subsequent appropriations for ongoing program funding are determined by the Department of Finance. Therefore, staff recommends the following board actions: to designate a chair for the establishment of the Prop 64 Cohort 4 ESC, to delegate authority to that chair to work with BSCC staff in establishing a diverse ESC membership with relevant subject matter expertise, and to authorize the ESC to oversee the development of the Prop 64 Grant Cohort 4 request for proposals according to the tentative timeline. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Looking for questions or comments from board members. I have some good news. Not only did Chief Branning come in off of vacation, she has agreed to chair this executive steering committee. So it's a double win for us today.
Thank you very much, Chief. I look
Thank
forward to
you.
working with you.
I
He
look
is
forward to it
virtually
as well.
smiling. Yes, yes. Thank you. Any members in the virtual world?
Nope.
Anyone in the room wish to comment on this item? What's that look, Aaron? Looking for a motion in a second?
That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
I don't blame you. I'm afraid of myself today.
Motion to approve. This is
Thank you.
Bill Scott.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Take the roll, Joanna.
Chair Penner,
Aye.
Dr. Bowles,
Aye.
Sheriff Taylor. Oh, sorry. Chief Haynes,
Aye.
Chief Branning,
Aye.
Chief Scott,
Aye.
Ms. Zaragoza,
Aye.
Ms. Kumpian,
Aye.
and Dr. Castro Rodriguez.
Aye.
Madam Chair, agenda item F, the motion carries for item.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to item G, local detention facility inspection update.
Good morning, Madam Chair, board members, colleagues, and community members. I'm Stephen Wicklander, the Acting Deputy Director for the Facilities Standards and Operations and the County Facilities Construction Divisions. I'm here this morning to provide a regular update on the status of our facility inspections and outstanding items of noncompliance. You have copies of these reports, and the information is also available in the links. The 2025-2026 inspection cycle began on January 1st, 2025, and will conclude on December 31st of 2026. We are currently halfway through the 2025 comprehensive inspection cycle. And with that being said, I'll begin with an update on the adult detention facility inspections. The FSO adult team has completed 52 comprehensive inspections, 17 unannounced inspections, and 94 pre-inspection briefs of type 2 and type 3 facilities at this time. There are currently 29 outstanding corrective action items of noncompliance. Your reports do reflect 33, but as of this morning, it was reduced by 4. The FSO team is working with the agencies to correct the noncompliance items. With that said, the noncompliance items do not rise to the level of requesting a sheriff to appear before the board at this time. Moving on to our juvenile facility inspections. The FSO juvenile team has completed 31 comprehensive inspections, 15 unannounced inspections, and 71 pre-inspection briefs of juvenile facilities. There are currently 4 outstanding items of noncompliance in 2 Los Angeles juvenile facilities, 1 at Camp Afflerbaugh and 3 at Barry J. Nydorf. The corrective action plan for Camp Afflerbaugh is due August 8th of 2025, and for Barry J. Nydorf is due September 1st of 2025. The assigned field representative is collaborating with the agency to correct these items of noncompliance. Our website dashboard provides summaries and details of each item of noncompliance for both adult and juvenile facilities. This concludes my formal presentations, and I can take questions at any time. Thank you.
The item on the agenda says for approval, but this is not an action item.
Yeah, at this time, it's an information item.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from the board? Anyone virtually have questions or comments?
Oh.
Madam Chair, there are no public comments.
Thank you. Anyone in the room have any questions or comments? Thank you, Steve, for your update. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Before we move to the next item, which would be our regular public comment that we do at the end of every meeting, the board is going to go into closed session where we discuss legal items before the board. And then we will reconvene and take public comments at that time.
Well, I think what we'd like to do, Madam Chair, is do the public comments for any other items that are not on the agenda at this time, and then move into closed session and then adjourn after that.
Well, that's interesting because that's what, okay, that's fine. I thought, I will let you know after, hold on a second, and we will honor, okay, thank you. Any other public,
Madam
any,
Chair, there are no public comments.
all right. Anyone in the room wish to make a public comment? Anything from any board members? The meeting is officially adjourned, or we're coming
No, no,
back
no.
to adjourn?
We will go into closed session at this time. We will return from closed session and then adjourn the meeting, but there will be no further public comment at that time.
Okay, thank you.
So, and then I would invite, so our remote participants, Ms. Kumpion, Chief Branning, Chief Scott, you should have a calendar link for the closed session on your calendars. So I'd invite you to, I'm sorry, and Sheriff Taylor. And then we'd invite you to go to those links at this time.
Thank you.
Okay, we're back on the record. Board of State and Community Corrections, at this time, we would adjourn this meeting and see you for our next meeting on September 11th. Thank you all.